Today, I'm going to show you how to climb out of every rank in Black Ops 6, starting from Bronze all the way to Iridescent. After hitting Iridescent this season for the 3rd time, I did some ranked challenges on alt accounts. And through those games, I noticed consistent mistakes players were making at every rank. So today, we're going to break them down and fix them one rank at a time. Bronze and Silver. Most players in this rank need to work on basic game mechanics, starting with the correct class setups. I can usually tell a player is below Gold just based on what gun they're using. Using an off-meta gun or class setup already puts you at a disadvantage. If you're a sub player, use the Jackal, and if you're an AR, use one of these two variations of the aims. Now that we have that out of the way, you have a base to start working on other basics of the game, starting with mechanics like aim. The main pillars of good aim in Call of Duty are centering, recoil control, and knowing how to use aim assist effectively. For centering, try to have your crosshair at chest level so you're always ready for a gunfight. Especially when you're sprinting around the map, stop looking at the ground. Second is recoil control. Learn the pattern of each gun and counteract the recoil by slightly pulling down on your right stick. And finally, the best way to get the most out of aim assist is to always strafe while shooting. This will engage your rotational aim assist and help you stay on target. Next, understanding the fundamentals of each game mode. For hardpoint, that means understanding the rotations of each map and when you should be rotating, which should be around 15 to 20 seconds depending on the hill and situation. For control, it means knowing that the more players on hill, the faster you capture. And for search and destroy, playing together with your team is essential. To practice all your mechanics, I would load up a bot lobby and focus on one thing at a time. Every day before I play ranked, I warm up like this and truly focus on the basics. For the first few minutes, I only focus on my centering. Then as I get more comfortable, I take longer range shots and start to introduce higher level movement as time goes on. No matter what rank you're in, warming up and constantly working on your aim is essential. On to Gold, and I would say this is the rank that most players should be able to get to if you actually put time into playing the game. Although Golds have a better grasp on the basic mechanics, it's still the #1 thing holding players back. It makes no difference if you make strides to play the game correctly if you can't win your gunfights. So continually focus on proving your gun skill and movement. Although you can get out of Gold rank by mechanics alone, a way to speed up the process is to start playing each game mode fundamentally sound. That means in Hardpoint, understanding which spawn is the good one and fighting for that spawn. In Control, it means learning how to take space on the map to allow your team to capture the point easier. In Search and Destroy, it means figuring out how to take or retake the bomb site with your teammate. One common mistake I see Gold players make way too often is playing alone instead of with their teammates to secure trades. A trade simply means eliminating the opponent who killed your teammate. By staying close to your teammates, you can leverage your numbers to double challenge an opponent and secure a kill, or at worst, achieve a 1-for-1 trade. Playing for trades is the easiest way to play as a team and win more games. Even if you're solo queuing, sticking close to at least one other teammate as you move around the map will greatly improve your win percentage. Another thing I see Gold struggle with is not using their minimap enough. It is essential to get used to looking at your minimap because it gives you all the info you need. At the basic level, it shows you where your opponents are shooting from, and as I'll cover later in the video, you can use it to understand where your opponents are spawning. The easiest way to get in the habit of using your minimap is to constantly check it while you're shooting bots until it's second nature. Also, if you're looking to fast track your rank progression, I'd like to add that I offer one-on-one coaching and gameplay review on my website, which is linked below, so go check that out if you're interested. At the Platinum rank, players usually fall into one of two categories. Either you've got decent gun skill and your map awareness is lacking, or your positioning and awareness are solid, but your aim's holding you back. And you probably know which one you are. Here are 3 things Plats need to work on in order to hit Diamond. First is finding the power positions on the map and staying there. Power positions really help your team control the map and defend a point. For example, that could be top trips on Protocol or top art on Vault. Either way, holding these spots makes you really hard to kill and gives your team more control over the map. If you're ever getting spawn killed or feel like you're in the blender, you're probably getting killed from one of these power positions. Next is advanced movement. This means slide cancels, jump shots, and drop shots. By adding these mechanics into your arsenal and mastering them, you'll be harder to kill. Working on these movements will have a positive impact on your game, but truly won't help if you can't shoot straight while doing them. So practice them in a bot lobby and make sure you're not sacrificing your aim. And lastly, playing your life. Being alive, even if you're just sitting in a corner, is more important than you think. If you're able to get one kill and stay alive, it allows your teammates the chance to come and help you. For example, if your team is trying to break a hill and you get a kill and stay alive, it forces your opponents to focus on you and allows your teammates to make a play. But if you get a kill and then blindly ego chow into a room, your opponent gets a free trade and then can fully focus on your teammate. Sometimes it's best to slow down, wait for your teammates, and collapse together. The easiest way to improve map awareness is to watch the CDL minimap. You can start to see where spawns are, how the pros play on the map, and what routes they take. For the most part, diamond players have all the basic mechanics mastered, but the most common thing holding them back is positioning and team play. First, understanding map control. The reason you can't hold a hill or a point is usually because you're not controlling the map. When you get kills, take space to lock down more of the map. The best example of this is in control. When you have 3 to 4 kills, push up and force your opponents to fight out of their spawn. By creating layers, it makes it harder for them to make it to the point and allows you to set up the spawn trap. You should also start to recognize that spawns give you information. In hardpoint, there are usually 2 main spawns, so if you spawn on one side, your opponents are likely spawning on the other. That alone can help you anticipate enemy pushes to be prepared for a gunfight. In control, the spawns don't flip like hardpoint, but they do shift left and right depending on pressure. If you push out the right side of the spawn, they'll often spawn left, and vice versa. So where you spawn or where your teammates are positioned can often tell you where your opponents are coming from. And that leads us to controlling spawns. Learning how to manipulate spawns can drastically improve your win percentage. In control, for example, if you push out the right side of the enemy spawn, they'll spawn out left. Spawning them farther away from the point you're trying to capture will give your team more time to cap. You can also do a similar thing in hardpoint. For example, on Hacienda, if there's 15 seconds left on P2, you should give up the back spawns and push up and try to force your opponents to spawn out farther from P3. The last thing I think is essential at this rank is learning to count kills by watching the kill feed. Basically, it can tell you how many enemies are still alive, which helps you make better decisions. For example, if my team gets 4 kills, I now know all 4 enemies are off spawn. That means I can check my minimap, predict their spawns, and be ready for a gunfight. Another example, if I'm rotating to the new hill and my teammates get 3 kills on old, I know there's at most 1 player I need to watch out for as I rotate. Crim players have mastered movement, aim, and have solid positional awareness. This is the hardest rank to get out of in Black Ops 6. The game is a lot faster than the lower ranks, and without a full team with comms, it can get pretty difficult. But there are a few things that can really help you progress. The first is being able to read the minimap. The pace is fast, and most of the time you can't rely on your teammates for callouts. So being able to read the minimap and understand what it's telling you is huge. While callouts are helpful, the fastest way to reach Iridescent is to be so good at reading the minimap that you don't even need callouts from your team. For example, if you notice your teammates suddenly spawn on the opposite side of the map, instead of waiting for a call out, you can immediately expect the other team to flip as well. Or if you see that no one's watching the flank, you can turn around and pick it up. Callouts definitely help at this level, but being self-sufficient and understanding how your team's positioning affects enemy spawns is key. Another example of this is being able to predict your opponent's spawn based on where your teammates have already cleared. In this example, 2 teammates are with me mid, and my last teammate just cleared the right side of the map. So after getting 3 kills, I know the last player can only be on the open lanes, which are pool and top cat. So I back up, hold an angle that watches both, and get rewarded with a free kill. And finally, discipline is huge in this rank. Things you could get away with in Diamond or Plat will get you punished in Crimson. So make sure you rotate early, play tight with your teammates for trades, and don't hit ult for 10 seconds. If you're Iridescent, you've made it to the top 1% of all players. And that's where most people stop their grind. But if you want to push for top 250, there's one thing you need to understand. The difference between Iridescent and top 250 isn't just skill, it's about winning and winning fast. Your SR gain is tied to the speed and margin of your wins. This means playing with a dedicated squad, knowing your role, and mastering how to enable your teammates. Through the lower ranks, you need to know how to flex in any role. But once you're an Iridescent, start to lock down one role and get elite at it. From here, it's about eliminating the small mistakes. Every ego chow, late rotation, or mistimed push costs you SR and can add up over time. If you're trying to hit top 250, be ready for the grind.